Are adults really watching anime? I'm sorry. Are we? I'm not being a bully. I know, I mean completely unironically, and not just for the aesthetics and not just a little bit for the vibe. Are we really watching it? Because I think I got a lot to learn. Because are you alone and you put it on and you have a college degree and everything and you're just like, my God bless your heart.
Now, if you've been on anime TikTok recently, you've probably already seen this video. The comment to like ratio is very, very revealing. The video was negatively received by most people. Being someone who mostly does anime content on my TikTok, I am in the trenches of the community, and I've seen both mutuals and non-mutuals roasting this woman alive, but I actually want to talk about something different. I want to pose the question, is adults watching anime normalized in 2023? Because when I listened to this woman talk, the immediate reaction for me was that she was the odd one out. Do you not see these large communities of adult anime fans? Do you not see them talking, reviewing, cosplaying, selling anime art, organizing conventions? It's completely asinine at this point to think that adults aren't consuming this stuff seriously. But I do think we as a community need to realize that just because something is more common doesn't exactly make it normal yet. I believe there are a couple steps before being chronically online that make people who are online frequently see the world in a way that isn't true to how the real world actually is. Almost all die-hard anime fans that I know who have grown up with anime just like me have had access to online spaces for a very long time. I'm talking MySpace, Shared, Gaia Online. We've been around for a very long time. And I think because that, we sometimes forget that we do have a warped way of looking at the world. This woman isn't the odd one out as much as we all feel that she is, which very well might be the reason why she felt so comfortable posting a video like that in the first place. Contrary to popular belief, many non-anime watching adults, especially ones that don't spend that much time online, have this ick view of adult anime watchers, as well as several other things that may be common online but not necessarily normalized in everyday life. I had this epiphany 2 years ago, but when I had it, it wasn't about anime, it was actually about alternative fashion. When you go online, you see goth, emo, J fashion, punk, all of that stuff has mixed up and morphed into fashions that are more acceptable now. It's not considered as uncool or as freakish as it used to be. But I realized, despite me logging on to whatever platforms and seeing all these people engaging in these fashions, I wasn't seeing nearly the same amount of people engaging in these fashions in my day-to-day life offline. I go to a lot of different places, I travel a lot, and most people dress very simply and very plainly. The only exception I can think of is the high school that I used to work at. You guys know kids, how they are about their self-image, about finding their own tribe, and how they process socializing and validation. It's like a fashion show at the high school, okay? They're all competing. What I mean is out on the street. In everyday life, are 6 out of 10 people decked out in full gear? Absolutely not. It may be different for people who live in major cities, but most places in America aren't major cities. I'm talking about majority here. I don't mean just colored hair and piercings, because I do think those types of things have become more acceptable with the exception of some corporate and business spaces. But I mean all the gear. I'm talking about demonia boots, fishnets, chains, if you're doing different types of fashion, full Lolita get up. There's so many different alternative fashions that I could mention, but do I see that walking around in my day-to-day life? 6 out of 10? No, I probably see that 1 out of 10, to be honest. And I live in a very liberal area, so that's actually quite shocking that I don't see that as much as I could. Is it more common? Yes. Is it normalized? I would say no. These people are still considered the odd ones out. They are still considered strange, different, eccentric, especially if they are not doing the alternative baddie hybrid look that is a little bit more palatable to today's beauty standards. For the longest time, I was under the impression that, wow, everybody dresses like this now. But people really aren't. And that is how I think about the position that adult anime fans are in now. The youth engages in trends the most. It's always been like that. So them liking anime is normalized. Adults liking anime, I would not say that we have gotten to that stage quite yet. I just feel like since we are online a lot, we're in our own communities, mingling with people who are similar and like-minded. I think because of all that, we think that we have gotten to that stage when we really haven't. I also think we don't account for just how many minors are in this space. They're the ones with the most free time on their hands. People their ages watching anime is the most normalized. When I was working at the school that I was working at, a good portion of the kids were interested in anime. While I liked it too, and a good portion of my coworkers knew that, there was almost this expectation for me as an adult to have a very light-hearted, surface level interest in anime compared to the kids. The other adults weren't really processing how much I liked it. No, when I say I like anime, I mean it's almost the only thing that I watch. That's not true. I watched some K-drama the other night. What this means is that every time you see me on my phone, my lock screen is gonna be some anime dude. I am fully engaged in these conversations with these students. I'm not just entertaining them because I'm bored. The general reaction in my day-to-day life when I tell other adults who don't watch anime that I like anime, the general reaction is that I have a very surface level interest in it and that it's not a solid interest packed with a tinge of obsession. Just a tinge. That's not really the expectation, you know? Now, you could say, hey, we all know those adults who are obsessed with Disney and obsessed with Pixar. Those people who are always talking about old Cartoon Network cartoons. That's me. I'm in that group. But the idea that cartoons are only for kids isn't the only pervasive belief that we're battling here. There's also this underlying layer of xenophobia and racism that makes consuming foreign media like anime laughable and undesirable to many American people. Behaviors like, oh, why would I watch a show in another language? I don't want to read subtitles. I don't want to do that. That's too much work. This is weird. They sound weird. The language sounds weird. There are so many people that still hold those beliefs and prejudices. I would even go as far as to say that these people make up the majority. And the same way that majority of people seldom think about where things come from, their food, their cleaning products, their children's toys, plastic, fashion. The same way people just don't think about any of the sources of those things most of the time. It's very easy for them to just not think about the fact that all of these things are being made by adults to begin with. Like, hey, some adults somewhere had to make this anime. Some adults somewhere poured their blood, sweat, and tears, because y'all know we talk about Japan. They poured everything into making this anime happen, and you're saying it's unwatchable for other adults simply because it's animated? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't really care about this woman's opinion of adult anime fans specifically. I just want people to realize that this is a very common sentiment among older people, among other adults. She is absolutely not in the minority in her way of thinking when it comes to adult anime fans. As far as adult anime fans being weirdos and losers, we were here before watching anime was common. We'll still be here, whether it becomes normalized for us to watch it or not. Whether people think it's weird or not. Honestly, I couldn't have picked a better interest to take with me from childhood to adulthood. I'm having a grand old time. And it's kind of hilarious because as kids, we were weird for watching it. And now that we're adults, we're weird for watching it while being adults. It's like, dude, did you think us little itty bitty kids consuming anime 24/7 in the infancy of social media would just get older and just drop it completely? Don't get me wrong, there are people who are watching anime younger who don't watch it anymore, but I don't think the reason they dropped it has anything to do with age. They probably just found other interests, or they probably got bored. I'd like to think maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, anime watching adults will be considered very normal. At the very least, when Gen Z completely moves into adulthood. Cause you know they be hella ageist, and once they realize, hey, I still like these things, and I'm nearing 30. We are you guys just in the future, with the exception of like maybe not having the best childhoods when it came to watching anime and people knowing. It's gonna all come together for them at some point, because it's not just other non-anime watching adults. There's a lot of like younger people in the anime community who also think that adults aren't supposed to be consuming anime, you know, as a solid interest. I don't know, they just think it's supposed to be surface level and we're not supposed to freak out about stuff because we're grown, and I don't understand that either. The only reason why they get a little bit more grace is because they're kiddos, okay? They're kids. They don't think they're gonna age. I was there once. I mean, I didn't make fun of adults or kids. I didn't really make fun of anybody. But still, you don't see your adulthood the same way when you're a kid. Anyways, please like this video if you can, and leave a comment if you wanted to add anything. I